This is the real concrete jungle.
Where I'm from, yeah. I'm from a concrete jungle in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
The concrete jungle.
Welcome to the Concrete Jungle podcast, in-depth artist interviews, where we'll be diving a little deeper into some of our favorite artists from all around the world and introduce you to some dope people you never knew you needed to know. Shout out to Island City Media Group for bringing you the Concrete Jungle every Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. California Fresh Coast time. Make sure you guys tap in, download that Dash Radio app. We streaming live music 24/7. Yo, so tonight, I have the honor of welcoming to the Concrete Jungle for the first time a chief rocker, a true hip-hop legend, an artist, an MC, actor, active supporter in the community, a straight lyrical messiah. Yo, this is a true honor to welcome to the Concrete Jungle a living legend in the hip-hop game. Welcome to the Concrete Jungle, yo, the big Oos, Chino XL, y'all.
Man, the honor is mine. The honor is mine.
Hey, thank you so much, Oos. You know, I appreciate, like I said, you know, making some time to come through to the Concrete Jungle. Yo, so how you doing, man? How's everything been going with you, with the whole pandemic going on and everything?
Man, it's so twofold, because on one hand, I'm enjoying the time with my daughters, you know. There's a lot less distraction to a certain extent. But on that same front, I feel like they're being robbed of their certain childhood things. Like, you know, my middle daughter is she's a senior in high school. And, you know, we kind of built up, you know, prom and homecoming and graduation and all of this stuff. Like, this was the actual reward system, right? For her to do well. Yeah. And study for, her SATs that are probably not going to happen and all of this. So, in the regards to being out in the world for the things that are positive, it sucks. I lost a lot of people, super whack on that end. But as far as the kind of deprivation tank of creativity and kind of resetting certain mind states that you need when you go back in this world that's a war, I kind of appreciated the time in that regard.
Nice. It's always good to be able to catch up with the family. I think this whole quarantine and pandemic kind of lets us appreciate those moments, you know?
How are you holding up, Lewis?
I'm pretty good, you know, with everything, like I said, you know, being quarantined, it's kind of given us that edge just to kind of create, you know, while we're home in the home studio. And like you, I got two high schoolers. Well, I got a junior and a freshman football players. So they're on a complete hold for the whole season, you know, so I feel you on that.
Oos, let me find out you have to train them yourself right now.
You know what I'm saying? I'm finding out other ways how we can get creative. Yeah, I'm having to, you know what I mean, set up a home gym, you know what I mean? And we used to do the whole gym thing, training, you know what I'm saying, with my boys, try to hit it at least 3 to 4 times a week in the gym. But since the pandemic, it's oh man, we got to cut this out. We can't be working out with everybody next to us. And you know,
same, man. Who you telling that shit? Bro, I didn't go. I haven't been since it dropped. I haven't been to a gym. I got a little home gym set up or whatever.
Yeah.
Weights is selling like coke these days. You know what I'm saying? It's what, $6 a pound or $10 a pound or some shit.
Serious.
So a little setup, but I refuse to go in anybody's gym, fam, because I'll be, you know what I'm saying? God bless motherfuckers that don't care about their hygiene, but I'll be seeing niggas in the gym that be doing shit that is, you know, unconscionable when it comes to caring about the next person's germs. Bruh, spitting and throwing up and nah, man, I'm cool. If I had to, I would do the old jail water buckets before I do that, bro.
Taking it back to the pen.
Man, yeah.
Man. Hey, you know, so speaking of the whole thing, you know what I mean? So you got the training thing going on. You know, there's a lot of, you know, here and there about you're into the bodybuilding scene. Is this personal training for lifestyle, or are you actually in the bodybuilding scene?
Man, I am far from anybody's bodybuilder, bro. When people call me that, I trip. The people that do that is a whole different discipline. It's 10,000 calories a day and things they take that I would all due respect, things that I'm just not trying to take any chances on. Like, so for me, it's more of just trying to stay strong. I probably consider myself in a sense more of like a power lifter. If I had to describe it, I just try to push up as much weight as I can. And if I feel like I want to look good for something, maybe I'll tweak the shoulders or arms a little bit. But for the most part, my regimen is just, if I hit this nigga, how hard is he gonna fall?
Yeah, you sound like an Uso, like straight up.
Hey, I'm raised around it, man. Raised around it.
Yo, man. So, I want to take it back just a little bit. Not too far, but just a little bit, because we are introducing you to the Concrete Jungle and to Island City. And, a lot of our people, have yet to be introduced to some dope, underground hip hop.
Okay.
And with you being who you are in the game, you know what I'm saying? Let's just take some time out to say, let everybody in the Concrete that's chiming in right now, tapping in, we have the honor of a real hip hop legend. I mean, literally a living legend in the game. You know what I'm saying? So
thank you.
Let's take it back just a little bit. And I know you're from the East Coast. Growing up in a famous celebrity family with your uncle Bernie Warhol. One of the dopest funk bands, Parliament. At a real young age. Give us a little bit of what the prequel was before what the sequel is. We see Chino XL now.
In my neighborhood in East Orange, New Jersey. Okay, let me start with my Puerto Rican side is from the Bronx first. I always like to mention that because I'm kind of proud to be from like right down the street where hip hop was born, right? So the diaspora happens where my mom meets my dad. My mom is from New Jersey, so I end up in New Jersey. And Jersey is super hip hop, bro, in my era. Like it was like nutrition. Like I don't even think we considered it like hip hop. It was just literally what we did. So my neighborhood was full of MCs. Lots of them, some of them are fucking better than MCs that we'll never hear of. Like just a whole culture of people that rocked. And I linked up with this little crew. And from that little crew, got with another little crew. And we're talking about 9, 10, 11. This was, formulative.
Wow.
So probably by 12 and 13, I was in a group called Art of Origin. And it was me and my partner. My partner, his name was Kerry Chandler. He ended up being really big in the house scene for anybody who listens to that kind of music. Super talented dude, super talented. And I got signed by Rick Rubin at 16. But this is after, talent shows with Naughty by Nature and Redman, Channel Live and the Fugees and the Artifacts. Like my neighborhood is literally littered, man, with MCs. Littered, man. Man. Sometimes I think I've heard different metaphysical explanations. Like somebody once told me, damn, I can't even believe I'm talking about this, but somebody once told me that it was that the part of East Orange that we're from was a place called Whiskey Lane. And that it was a place that was bars and ill repute and a bunch of shit that white people had where they would just do crazy shit to Indians, to the natives. And a lot of people, and I have heard somebody say that they think that those apparitions travel around. And the older I get and the more that I look at things and I think about me coming out with the braids, Tretch coming out with the braids, Apache being named Apache, all of this different ways that we get down with like the warrior spirit, there really may be something to it. There really may be something to it, but I'm digressing. So, okay, so Rick signs us as a group. It doesn't work out as a group. He decides to sign me. Rick had left, for those that don't know, Def Jam Recordings, LL, responsible for Run DMC on Profile, Public Enemy, all of those, major foundation groups. Rick Rubin signed. It was him and Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin split up. Rick started his own label out here. Rick signed me. I reminded him at 16 a lot of LL, for who he didn't work with anymore that he missed. And I love words. I'm the type of mother that would pick up a newspaper and say, you see how that word pops? You see how that adjective changes everything? Like really explaining to me, what the power of communication is. Just to add one more thing, like they talk about the wizard Merlin, right? Yeah. I've heard stories that the wizard Merlin wasn't the type of wizard with magic at all. They said that Merlin stood on the sidelines with armies with a bullhorn and would suggest that the other army was getting weak, suggest that they were going to lose, suggest that they were inferior, suggest to the team that he was on that they were invincible. And it worked. Words is some real shit. Yeah. So I kind of carried that into my career and decided that being a commercial success in the definition in the terms of secular music and what people defined it as such, like a compromise to what your own integrity wasn't really for me. So I just realized that I had to build my career and pay for what my children ate bar by bar by bar. And that's really what I've done.
Oh, man. Yeah, hats off and respect to that. At the age of 15, being signed with Rick Rubin, what does that mean for a 16-year-old at that time?
There's two things. The first thing is people use the word manifestation too lightly. I was in a really, really abusive household, to be specific, my stepdad. And I talk about that freely because a lot of fucking people are. You're not alone. And I knew that this gift that God had given me was like a magic carpet to get me out. It was like I knew this is my only way out. So I believed in it so much. I mean, we're talking about a boy who held a brush in the mirror and pretended to be LL. I believed in it so much that I called nature to communicate to the person who signed LL to come get me. You feel me? Yeah. So I think what it did for me, as realizing later on, much later on in life, how inspiring young people could be more important than what you can actually achieve yourself, because they can go farther than you, right? That although I had been through all of that shit, I didn't get a chance to get jaded by the world telling me what I fucking couldn't do. So I got into the business when I still had my child heart. And I still had my child mind. They didn't break that part of me. They didn't break that part of me. So I kind of got into the game like, all right, well, I'm going to tell my stories and I'm going to fucking have some fun and I'm going to spit some crazy shit that other people will think will get them killed. It's just lyricism to me, whatever it is. And I just from there, man. But it's a great thing in that regard. And kind of if I had a chance to do it again, like when my kids wanted to be in the business, I would rather them go through the formative years of being children. So later on, they're more centered for the pitfalls that can happen later. Like, I don't know if you're aware of my niece. You know who Lady London is? That's my niece.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's my blood niece.
Oh, that's pretty dope. It's all in the blood.
Yeah, yeah. So not to take away her own dedication, but yeah, it is. So I'm watching her now in her early 20s go through it. And I'm just glad that it's the early 20s and not, because I missed a lot, which was great for my kids. Because when I started having kids, I did all the kid shit with them. But there was definitely certain things that I feel like financially I got taken advantage of because I didn't know. I did a lot of things for free that I shouldn't, things of that nature. But it allowed me to stay with my personal mantra of this is for the culture. This is a tool set and I want to add to this fucking thing that I love so much. I didn't get a chance for them to take that from me.
Yeah, I feel that right there. You must have been approached quite a few times to take that route, the mainstream route, or even the pop route. I'm already knowing, you know what I'm saying, being who you are. So what I know that you stay true to the core of what hip hop is. Do you ever feel like, well, I could take what I do and just mix it into your world here? Does that ever kind of come across when the deals come through on the pop level or the mainstream level?
I feel like when certain artists do that, you can hear the car crash that it is. It is a fucking train wreck. You're listening to something like your favorite MC going a pop route, yeah, and he's talking about being in the club and all type of shit, and you're like, I ain't never seen this nigga in a club in my life, and when I did, we were performing, and he was uncomfortable. Like, that's not a disrespect. It's just, this is a, like, bro, real shit. Like, I mean, I'm okay in the club. Don't get it fucked up. I could be like a regular nigga in the club, but that's not my scene. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so for whatever reason, when you're brown and when you're black, right? You're supposed to make music about being in a club. Okay, well, I don't go to a club. You're supposed to make music about getting money. Okay, well, money is to sustain